April Fools, because I'm here when I said I wouldn't be, I guess. It's more cope than much else, if I'm honest. I hadn't intended to be here, but turns out the clock changes are kind of doing a number on me, and my ability to wake up in the mornings. So I'm here. Is this still working? Yes. Right. Oh well. Ugh. Right. Fine. It's fine. I can work on this and just kind of evaluate where I left off. Okay. Um. Yeah. It's one of those trying to decide how much I want to like actively try and texture things or finesse anything. And at the minute, I'm not super sure. I kind of don't want to put the snaky thing on until I've sort of marked everything as I'd want to. But then, if any of the marks are too consistent, it kind of defeats the purpose. So I'm like, what do I actually want to do with this ultimately? Because I like it being a bit of a mess. But then I'm not sure how to make inconsistent marks on things. Actually, I know tin foil is a thing for like leather textures. So maybe if I just sort of scrumple some bits up and kind of, is scrumple a word? Scrunch is a word. Maybe I feel better if I just give it some of this. Because I do want to texture it, I've decided. Because the original plan was like, oh, if I just, whack some sand in some resin after the fact. But I'm like, I don't know, Chief. That's kind of relying on something rather than just, putting in the time and doing it myself. So I'd rather just do something myself, if I'm honest. And I don't hate how this looks. So maybe this was the strat. I don't mind this. This actually kind of looks pretty okay. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's cool. Right. I'm a fan of that. I enjoy this. And what I want to get done this morning is the snaky thing. If I can get the snaky thing done and everything in a position to just mold a thing, then it'll depend tomorrow morning on how much sleep I manage to get tonight and whether it continues to elude me or not. So, yeah, that is pending, I guess. Because at this point, I can't really guarantee a whole bunch. Didn't expect the clock change to screw me over to the extent it has. Alas, here I am. So I may as well do something with the time. Saves me going quite as mental. Okay, I think I want to kind of finesse these a little bit. Just because it's bothering me slightly that they're a little bit of a mess. And they kind of need to be to an extent. But not this much. I don't want them to be perfect, but I want them to be decent. So, yeah. They definitely need to be discernible. And I've just remembered how much leaning like this throws my back out. Hell yeah. Oh well. Whatevs. Unbothered, realistically. Give me more tinfoil, please. Unless I can just roll this over again. That's just kind of hard to get in at the right angle for these. Also worth noting that this tinfoil is old and brittle. So, yeah. They're just gonna keep disintegrating. I shouldn't really be too pressed about these, because I will be painting these in. There won't just be marks. There will be paint that goes into them also. So, you know. Just want them to be fairly neat. Again, I get the horrible feeling I'm setting myself up for this whole thing to take a very long time. Whatever. I'd rather do it properly and have it take ages. So, ultimately, unfazed. I definitely want to get a snaky thing in here. So, to that end, I'm just going to lay stuff on top of the pattern that I've got and base it off of that. Try not to bap the mic with my scarf. It's cold out here this morning, which is nice, because the weather's starting to get warm now, which is the bane of my existence. I hate it. Can I put something under you to stop you rolling? Yes, I can. Right. I have my snaky things. There's the original. Here's the other one. So, I had this on here. It will be... Okay, that's fine. So, what I think I will do is more or less that sat on there. So I reckon if I just get a thin bit, I don't want it to be in a point at the top though. Which makes me wonder if this ends up being too thick, unless I try to be smart about it, because I have wire. So I suppose I could also stick some wire in the top. It's garden wire. Because I want to get a fairly defined ridge going along the top. So I suppose what I could do is create a ridge. Everything sort of flows by. Maybe. Yeah. Let's say I did do that. So let's say it's to about, what, here? Well, it needs to be slightly longer because of this. So it's going to follow, well, is it going to follow all the way along? I don't think it is. I don't think it is. So let's just say I did it to about here. Then I cut a couple of lengths of that. Yeah, these have a cutter in them? No. Maybe I've just been using this from over here somewhere. Yeah, these have cutters in them. Okay. So I'll do one of these. Assess whether that's sufficient, which it seems to be. And then I will cut another one. Of vaguely similar length. And then I will do the same thing another couple of times so I have wire for the other one as well. Because I know me, and I will not remember the length that I cut anything at. So it's better to just do it at the same time. This is what I was saying about being annoyed that I can't sculpt both of them at the same time, because I will just forget what I did. That is a promise. But then I was thinking about it earlier. It's like, how am I gonna remember all the like tools and stuff I use? It's like, my guy, you streamed this. Just watch the VOD. So there's that. Not usually an advantage I have in these scenarios. But on this occasion, yeah, might as well use it. Okay. So I reckon Do I intertwine these? Maybe at the very ends, and that's it. As I say, I want to get a fairly straight ridge going. So I'll twist it at the very end. And then try and get quite a pronounced ridge that I can lay some clay over. I'm going to use some unsullied masking tape for this, because the other one's covered in plasticine now, so, you know, not ideal. Then I'm following this. Do I move this out the way for a second? Probably. Just for a bit. Just while I deal with this. So I can at least kind of show what I'm doing here. If that's like that, that's like that. And this goes along the top, along here. I'm hoping that that will then create a ridge I can mold the clay back to. I can always snip that in, that's no biggie. I feel like I'm going to get a bunch of phone calls this morning when I go into work. It's like, oh, I'm not going to be in because, like, my house caught fire. So, right, cool, sure, okay. If you say so. That I can at least use it when I inevitably get something stupid down from management. I can go, April Fools, you got me, and have them be wildly unamused. Yeah. I can probably have some fun with that. Shouldn't, but I probably can. Okay. That seems pretty okay. Yeah, that's not the worst. I'm okay with that. So, I'm gonna need to heat up a slab. Probably roll it out quite thinly as well. So, yeah. Okay. I mean, I have a slab here. I can probably just heat this up and use this, to be fair. It shouldn't be too thin anyway. You have to get a couple of snakes out of this one. Right. Let me go plug in my heat gun and contend with that. It may be slightly interesting because it's so long. So I might try and cut it down first. I feel like that may save me a little bit of aggro. So I fit this on here, and then expecting to have to go wider than the actual thing. Let's say I did that, and basically just engraved a thing. Just so I know where I need to be cutting stuff. Okay. Yeah, that gives me enough to go off of. That is fine. Putty things. I have those. And then, let's say I left this much. Nice. Certainly good enough. I see it's really thick. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. I'm kind of reluctant to lay it straight on the paper because I'm going to need it for the other side. So I think I'll heat gun this lab and then see what I can do with that. Let's see. To be floppier than that, I believe. I don't know. Okay. So I can do it a bit. I'm gonna have to go heat gun it over here. So that it willingly lies flat. I say flat, I don't mean flat, like it just kind of, you know, flops over, basically. But as strats go, this appears to be functional. A little spicy, but it works. Okay. So actually, that wire line needs to go up. So it's slightly interesting trying to get it all to sit the right way up, but it seems to be doable. So, knowing that, so I can smooth it off in a bit anyway, that's no biggie. And I want to do the head of it separately anyway. But it gives me a snake. Hell yeah. Okay. So I then have a snaky thing. Good for me. Then need to try and find where that line of wire is. Because I want to be able to flatten everything down past it. To eventually make something kinda sorta more triangular looking. Is the plan. I think this is just gonna be a lot of faffing, really. Which is fine. It's kind of my entire existence at this point is just faff. Let's see. That's better. Okay. If I can just get a fairly consistent ridge going, that would be epic and cool. Because at the minute, it ain't that. So let's take off a bunch from here. You can kind of see the level of it better from down here. So I'm just going to vibe on the floor for a minute whilst I figure this out. Okay, well, I found the wire. It's not where I wanted it to be. It's only slightly annoying. Maybe it's something I should have put on the outside. Maybe that's what I should have done. Could not have random bits of crap stuck on my gloves. That would be epic. Okay. Well, it works. I think I have just accidentally cucked myself a bit with the wire. But that's not the end of the world. You can kind of fill that gap just by moving it over a bit. The wire was a nice idea, but I don't think it's actually going to do what I wanted it to. So, whatever, I guess. Um. Mm, right. Let me see if I can smooth out this bit as well. At least I know that as far as methodology, this is reasonably functional. Kind of works as a thing. Actually get tin foil on this. Oh no, that's just the inside of the snake. Okay. Well, now I know. So this may end up taking more faff than I wanted. But I can't say I'm particularly surprised. Things considered. If I can at least get the basic shape, then that is progress. If I have to fill bits in, then meh. That's pretty whatever, really. I just want it to be kind of consistent. So actually, the wire, I think, is helping with that. Maybe the wire is an okay strat. As far as shape. That's still pretty consistent with what I want it to be. Got to shave off a bunch from over here. Again, my poor back is not having this. Oh well. I think some of this is going to require heating up again, to be honest. See what I can do as is. I do think it will be a requirement. Fairness, if I can just get this reasonably even. And at the right sort of angle. Not bad. Not bad. Not great, but not bad. I can live with that for now. That is just tinfoil that got stuck on. Go away. Sure. Yeah, everything's kind of, sort of in disarray at the minute. Again, I can't determine whether that's part of the thing or... that is definitely from within the thing. Okay. Fair enough. I'll just stick some more stuff in there, I guess. As far as it being an even height, fairly confident it isn't. Yeah, it's because it isn't. It's fine, I can see where it's too high. Just the shavings getting everywhere that's annoying me. Maybe what I do instead is this again. And then maybe all I do is smush it. I think that's the strat. Yeah, okay. Nice, nice. This plasterers thing was an absolute find. As far as the garage having random stuff that I happen to need, this was absolutely huge, to be honest. The only problem is it's very big. So I think I use this, right? As far as smaller versions of a similar thing. I know back when I was doing ceramics in school, they had a load of kidneys that we used to use. Just like little sort of what PVC soft, like slightly padded things, but of varying softness, and then we had metal ones as well. They were great. They were stupidly useful. And I hadn't really thought about them until now. But maybe I end up investing in some of those at some point. Because I get the feeling they might be useful. It's not like this is going to be the only project that I'm going to do that I use them for, you know? I think that's the beauty with stuff like this, is it's like, yeah, okay, I've spent out on a lot of gear, but also, I'm gonna use it again. This is very much not just a one and done sort of affair. I'll be creating more nonsense in the future. So in that respect, like, I can justify it. No? I can totally justify it. But I will definitely forget to look at it afterwards. Knowing me, I will just forget. I'm wondering whether I can get away with cutting a fairly straight line from there. Cut it at the angle I want. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. And same premise with this bit. Okay. I hope I haven't cut through the plastic thing. I might have done. Okay. Not looking too bad. Not too bad. Ah, see, that to me, once it's on the thing, looks way too thick. But now I know. And I'm going to have to shear it down. So let's say I wanted to take away half of it, because that is definitely too thick. So I'll start by not doing half. Start by just kind of taking away, I suppose, as much as I can get away with. And I'll do similar this side. Is that any better? Yes. Yes, it is. However, there's definitely still too much tinfoil in the way. Now it's a question of, can I even get that out? Because the answer is maybe not. Suppose if I just open it up. And then can I just cut it down a bunch? Not particularly. But it's not going to stop me trying. It's better than it was. I love how I'd come into this morning like, oh yeah, I'll get the snaky thing done and everything ready to mold and blah blah blah. So no, you won't. You'll faff about trying to make a snake for an hour and a half. That's what you'll do. Takes away a little bit. Not better. Still sticks out too much. Definitely sticks out too much. So at this point, I think what I should really do is take this off of here and out of here. I think I start again. That's what I think. So this is too thick, but I know that now. So what I need to do is similar premise, but considerably thinner. So where is the other one of these? Because this will be too thick also. So can I just slice it in half? Maybe? Maybe. Maybe I do that, and then let me use the already sullied masking tape. To try and stop it from shedding everywhere. Emphasis on try. Okay. And I will just shave off more, I guess. Or I will attempt to. Okay. So that's been hacked back pretty considerably. So in theory, I just re-establish the main shape of this. And then tape it accordingly. That seems better. Yeah, that seems better. Okay. Then all I need to do is get rid of the shitty little scraps and try and get the same sort of thing going with another bit. You seem like a decent candidate. Wouldn't it be nice if you just happened to be the right one? Wouldn't that be cool? Not far off, actually. You know what? Close enough. Close enough. Epic. Alright. I'll roll with that. That's awesome. Okay. And then it will just be... the wire will go on the opposite side. Flip. Tape. Always bend this first anyway. Seems okay. And then I'm going to try to get this to do a thing. I'll just cut that off after the fact. I think that's going to be the better bet. Okay. Right. And yeah, that seems about right. So that will be for later. Assuming that it's actually okay like that. I don't even know yet. Remains to be seen. This I will contend with separately. All of this I'm going to try and gather up and dump in the slow cooker. And that could become a future me problem. Because there's too much mess around here now and it's annoying me. I can exist in chaos to an extent. But not for too long. Only really while I'm doing stuff. Now I'm wondering whether I can actually take this slab that I have here and warm it up and roll it out a bit. Because I think if I do, I might have a slightly easier time contending with various. So what I think I'm going to do is wander over, heat gun this, roll it out, then cut a thing. But I'll see. See. If nothing else, let me see if I can smush it a bit. It's definitely smushable. Can I roll it? Yeah, I can roll it. If it's a tinfoil stuck in it, but I can roll it. Pick bits of tinfoil out. I'm not too pressed on that, if I'm honest. And ultimately, if it doesn't make a difference to the end texture, I'm not too fussed. Oops. Definitely not bapping the camera. Definitely not. Short-term memory. Okay, here we go. So where did I put it? Here, it's fine. Everything's fine. Busy Bee popping in to say, isn't it a bit early for you, or am I thinking wrong? No, it is definitely early. It is currently 3:45 in the morning where I am. But this is a fairly standard time for me. So I'm hoping it's a slightly more civilized time where you are. I'm just here briefly before I go to work. So yeah, had some stuff I wanted to get done. So wandering off intermittently to use a heat gun. So yeah, don't mind me. I'll be sort of dipping in and out depending. Almost 9 p.m. Okay, so it's definitely a way more civilized time where you are. As I say, I'm just doing some stuff before work. because it's been bothering me. Been trying to get some more stuff done. Yes, how early for you? Well, it's 3:45 in the morning, and that for me is not very early because because the clocks have changed recently. I've been really struggling with the difference in the time because I had been getting up just before 1 in the morning on a standard day. Um, but now it's going to be like the equivalent of just before midnight, but also having to try and get to bed earlier, even though I'm not quite tired yet because it should be slightly later. So like it's been messing with me. Um, and yeah, so far this week it's just been really rough trying to do stuff on time. So I'm going to stick at it because I will eventually get used to it again and it'll be fine. I mean, yeah, that's a big crazy mess. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It sucks. Um, but I'm gonna keep trying, and eventually I'll get my head around it, and I'll be able to wake up consistently again. But at the minute, it's just really rough, especially because I've got work to contend with. So it's not even like I can kind of, you know, sort everything out beforehand so that I don't get to bed late by the time I've prepped all the stuff I need to. No, it's one of those, I get in from work as and when I can, and then it's a complete rush to try and have dinner and go to bed. And yeah, so far I've been out by like an hour, which makes a massive difference. It's off to you. Well, thanks. I think I'm just a bit mental, to be honest. I find that routines are really important. So I will be doing everything I can to stick with it until it becomes normal again. And I'll get there eventually, but for now it is just pain. Exclusively pain. So we'll see how the rest of this week goes. It should be easier on my days off, because then time constraints aren't so much a thing. But at the minute, it's like I got work to go to, so time constraints are definitely a thing. I mean, who isn't though? Well, I suppose everyone's got their things. Everyone's a little bit funky, but yeah. I don't know. I suppose it's whatever you get used to. And as I say, for me, that is normal. I feel you because I'm the same way. Work, food, try to sleep on time or stream. Yeah, yeah. Like I'd got up late today in spite of my best efforts. Um, and it was one of those. Well, I definitely don't have time to get everything together, go to the gym, and then come back, yada yada, have a shower, all the rest. So I thought, you know what? I'll just stream because I can do that for, an hour and a bit, which is not very long at all, but also it's better than nothing. So I kind of just have to roll with it at this point. Makes sense. Yeah. It's one of those like At the minute, I'm looking at it as, hey, at least I am getting up. You know, the gym is what I want to be doing, but if I can at least get up, then that is better than not. So if I can just coax myself into doing stuff with the promise of working on this, then all right, at least I'm trying to maintain the standards, you know. So yeah, as I say, better than not. Not the ideal, but better than not. But I think on my days off that I have this week, Thursday, Friday, pretty sure I don't have any other obligations on those days. So I can get up, go to the gym slightly later if that ends up being the case. Then I can come back and work on this properly. I think my primary source of frustration is going to be if I get this to a moldable state and then, you know, silicon mold it all on one of my days off. I then have to wait for everything to cure, and that's going to be really irritating. That's going to feel like a massive waste of time. So, because I can't really sculpt any of the other bits until that's done curing, because it all needs to stay on the duct tape dummy. So I just kind of have to walk away, and I hate that. Which is why I'm kind of thinking like, if I can try and get this to a better point on the days I'm working, then on my days off I can actually do more stuff with it. So, you know, at the minute that's kind of the fight I'm having with myself. It's just how much can I actually get done before my days off? So, I don't know, we'll see. I feel yeah, because with my job it's kind of the same way. While things are curing, we've got to wait and it feels like a waste. Yeah, massively. Massively. It's just wildly frustrating. I'll have to think of something else that I can do with the time. There'll be other projects I can work on, but I want to work on this. You know? We'll see. I'll figure something out. I've got little bits and pieces that I can get on with. Still gonna annoy me. I'm also being pretty conscious of the time, because I should technically leave around 4 to make sure I get all my stuff ready for work. But also, I'm kind of like, how much do I care? Because I wanted to get the snaky thing done, but that's so not going to happen. Not if I do it properly. And that in of itself is a source of frustration. Right. See if I can cut some of this off at an angle. In fairness, it was more important that I was at work early yesterday because it's a Monday. So there's a lot I need to catch up on and organize, etc. Whereas today, it's not so bad because I've already been through all the emails, yada yada. So, yeah, not as important. But also, it was nice to get there before anybody else. So, I don't know, I might hang around for slightly longer than I should. Yeah. I just get the feeling this is going to take me longer than I thought it would. And what's new, really. Oops, come back. Me personally, I say no, don't. But in reality, do what you want. Yeah, yeah. And it's one of those, like, I know the correct answer to this. I'll I'll see how sweaty I end up getting as time closes in around me. Because at the minute I'm like, I'm still on time currently. Depends how bothered I end up being. It wouldn't matter so much, but mate of mine who's in the same job role as me sent me a message last night saying he might not be in today because he's screwed up his ankle. And I'm looking at that like, the April Fools, yeah? Say psych right now. Because if it's just me, then, then, oh no. So, yeah. I suppose technically I probably should duck out in good time. Can't see it, but if true, I'm grimacing because I feel that pain. Yeah. Yeah. It sucks. Especially because, like, so there are three of us that are in the same, like, team lead role. And all three of us are very different. And the mate that I'm supposed to be in with today, because there should always be two of us, um, he's like, he's the calm one. He's the one that just kind of like, you know, he just sorts stuff out in a very zen sort of way. So if he's not there, I'm already thinking, oh god, the chaos. The chaos, the carnage. I am not ready. So I'm the admin guy. I'm the one that like handles all the correspondence from other departments and actually manages to find stuff out that, you know, our direct managers were never going to tell us. It's only because I did some sleuthing that I discovered any of it. So that's my thing. And then the other guy is like the practical guy. You know, people come to him with problems and he just kind of jumps it and solves it himself. So, yeah, people got our strengths. But I'm not looking forward to being without the calming presence of my mate Dan. And it'll just be me with my chaotic methodology. Because calm, I ain't. Fingers crossed it's an April Fool's joke. Yeah. Yeah. Got a horrible feeling. Who knows? We'll see. I'm not holding out an awful lot of hope, all things considered. But oh well. Ultimately, the day will eventually end. And I can come back home and try to sleep and see if I'm able to get up in the morning. Because that would be nice. At the minute, it's just wildly inconvenient. Trying to factor in the lack of hours that I have in a day. So yeah. Not ideal, but there you go. We'll see. It's annoying because, like, I said to myself, sort of start of the year, like, right, something of a New Year's resolution. What happens at work stays at work. But I can't help it. Like, it's just the existential dread. It will follow me home. And I find that I stress out more if I don't think about it. Because at least if I've considered it, it's like, alright, I'm going into this semi-prepped. Like, yesterday was actually fine. But only really because I'd sort of gone into it with kind of a game plan. So, yeah. So I try not to think about stuff, but ultimately, like, kind of better if I do. Right, how does this fit on here? Oh, that's considerably better. Good grief. Okay, awesome. Yeah, that's way better. Nice. Huge. Okay. Now I'm thinking I should probably try to sculpt another one to match before I commit to the rest of this. Because at least then I'm kind of going into the next side with half an idea of how I made this one. It'll just be the opposite way around. But then I'm also looking at the time like, that's nice. It's gone 4, so technically I should not be here. So I can't really justify starting another one. It's just super frustrating. At least I don't have to wait like a full 5 days before I can work on these things. The most I'll ever have to wait is 3 days. Unless I have other obligations on my days off, then that's its own problem. But as far as work goes, it should only ever be 3-day max. That is the intent. that's not the worst. As far as being fairly even, it's not terrible. It's not immaculate, but it's not terrible. Realistically, there might be some amount of smoothing, etc., that I have to do on the panel itself. So I'll have to see. It's just easier to do while it's not on there. It's not the worst. Still trying to decide whether it's too tall. Might be. Might still be too tall. How much can I get away with losing off the top is the question. If I just smooth this all the way down. This is why these things take me so long. There is a disgusting amount of trial and error. Okay, so that's as flat as I can get it. At that point. Flattens off a fair amount. Okay. Then I'll just try and take it back in at an angle. Said to myself I'd go for about an hour and a half. It's about that sort of time, so really I've done everything I kind of expected in that regard, but also I've achieved very little. And I don't know, like, to a point I do expect that to be the case, but that doesn't make it any less soul destroying, you know? I think I'd be less annoyed if it wasn't like a, cool, now I have to leave this for, best case, 24 hours before I can pick it up again. Best case. That's super annoying. Okay, so there's where the wire is. That's why I'm wondering whether it's still too tall. Let me see. Let me see whether I think it's still too tall or not. That seems okay. In fairness. It seems like it might be alright. I think I'm just gonna have to mess around with this for a while until I reach a point that I'm vaguely happy with. It's gonna take me a while, because I'm going to have to add some more to this because I've taken away too much, really. But once I know what I'm doing with one, I can copy it for the other one. So the other one should, in theory, be a lot quicker than this one was. Considering I got it to a point that I was okay with twice and then changed my mind. So, once I know what I'm doing, it's not so bad. It's just trying to figure it out. So, question is, am I more okay with the height on that? If I am, I can just fill in patches after the fact and whatever, really. Yeah, I am definitely more okay with that. Don't really want to be pushing too hard on the panel because it'll split. Alright. It's not terrible as far as the basic shape goes. So I guess for now, I will kind of leave it where it is. Super, super reluctantly. Like, the temptation to capitalize on the April Fool's thing and to just not show up today. Good grief. Trying not to get all the tinfoil caught in this. Varying degrees of success. I suppose it depends what time I manage to get in today. If I manage to get home in decent enough time, I could maybe do something else to this. Maybe. But it is totally dependent on the time. I'm not holding out a lot of hope, realistically. As I say, I don't know whether I'll be doing this tomorrow morning or not, because the gym is what I should be doing with my time, but also sleep. Sleep is a thing that is really eluding me at the minute. So I might be here tomorrow morning. But it'll be another, like, sort of hour and a half type deal, so it's not like I'll be here for very long if I am here. Which also sucks. So, I don't know. I don't know. I'll just have to see. I'll just have to see how it goes. I either will or I won't. Regardless, I am determined that I will wake up. So, yeah. I might not. I can't really say at the minute, unfortunately. On the plus side, I'm more okay with that. So, yeah. I think I can contend with that as it currently stands. Then I'll just try and finesse it a bit and see whether I continue to like it or not. Who knows? By the time I've filled in various bits and pieces, who knows? It's this way around. Yeah. Well, that is going to have to be a future me problem. As frustrating as that is, I don't have time to deal with this. Not this morning. At least I can kind of bend it into the shape I want it to be. That's a plus. Yeah, that seems okay. But as I say, I'm going to have to make another one that matches it anyway. So, yeah. You did what you could. Yeah. Yeah. It's just annoying. No. But it is what it is. Not a hell of a lot I can do about it this morning, to be honest. So, yeah, we'll see. I'll either be here tomorrow or I won't. But I'm expecting I probably will be. So, yeah. Cool. Alright. Kinda just gonna have to leave it there for now. But, thanks for stopping by. Nice to see you. Nice to have a little, company in my madness. So, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, about an hour and a half. Fair enough. You too? Nice. Cheers. Yeah. I'll see you when I see you, really, I suppose. Hope you have a good evening. And, yeah. Peace out for now. Catch you in a bit.